welcome back to my channel where I play with inks, I write my books, and do other fun stuff with pens, really. And today is the day of my August currently inked review. And of all the pens I had inked up in August, I only have two ones left, this one and this one. And I think I will sort of take them over into September, but basically as a little add-on, because actually I have quite a few pens inked up at the moment because I'm working on the next volume of my work in progress, and that sort of factors into how many pens I have inked up because I'm going through them a bit faster. But as always, I'm going to show you long form writing samples from my manuscript and sometimes from my journals. And yeah, let's get started. The first one was the Pilot Elite with a fine 18 karat gold nib. And I had this inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. And this was lovely. It was visibly a grey. It was not too dark. Because sometimes with some greys, I always feel that you could as well write with black, but you can clearly see, especially in a fine nib, that this is grey. And it worked really well in this pen. I would definitely, absolutely do this again. It's just a very classic combination, I think. Then for the big, that's all the non-roll stop pens that are getting frisky. This is the Neptune model by Dense Pens in the colorway Shelley, and I had this inked up with Jacobin Bleu Azur, and you see how well this matches, and this was a joy. Bleu Azur is quite a dry ink, but this pen made it work, and I wrote, I think, a few diary entries with it. Otherwise I would use it as headers, and yeah, this was really nice to write with. I think my handwriting doesn't really work with a stub nib. I really need to use it for headers or for calligraphy. I'm trying to get back into that. For the next pen, this was my Hongdian C1. It has a lovely hooded nib. I really like this pen. It has a snap cap. It's one of the more affordable pens, but it's really sturdy. It has a bit of weight to it because it's a metal pen. And let me see if I find. And I had Pannonia Twilight in it. And this is the writing sample for it. So there was a tiny bit of evaporation, but not too bad. And for such a sort of light purple, it was actually quite readable. And yeah, it worked really well in this pen. It's sort of wet enough, but not too wet. Really enjoyed it, would definitely ink it up again. And I think the sort of banana yellow and the purple together was just a joy. Then, yeah, the next pen, I have this now inked up with something else, was the Mahjong Wankai Wansai. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but this pen is working its way up my favorites list. I literally don't want to use shimmer inks in any other pen now because as an eyedropper, it works really, really well. If there's an issue, you can see it right away. It does. The only time when it leaked on me was when it was really hot, and I think the ink boiled up the pen, but the seal is really good. So, and it hasn't really, it sort of spills into the cap, and you can see that something's the matter. I think this is why I prefer the demonstrator model. I'm sort of battling my wish to get a couple of more of these. They're pretty affordable on AliExpress, and I think they are amazing for shimmer inks. So absolutely would always do that again. And I had some problems with Dominant Industries Sunset in other pens. It clogged a Twisby. I think it also might, maybe not really clogged, but because it's quite dry, sort of the flow wasn't great. So it was more like a hindered flow. but in the Mahjong, it worked really quite well. I think I might reconsider Sunset for manuscript writing in the future because it's really quite light. I'll see how I deal with the typing up of everything. But you can definitely see the shimmer. It worked really, really well in that pen. So for journal writing, I would always do that again. Then we have the Sailor Shikiori Pro Gear Slim in the Harazora or Spring Sky colorway with a medium fine nib. And that was inked up with Aura and Klingner's Blue Eyed Mary. And this is still going, and it's an absolute joy. Let me find you a page. Because sort of the manuscript was all in purple, I have so that is a sample. Yeah, nothing to moan about. It was really lovely. Would absolutely do this again. Like 10 points, no notes, really. Then the Jinhao 20 with KWZ and the UK Pencil's Waterloo Sunset. This was lovely to write with, but because I had so many other pens inked up, I had a few dry out issues with this one. So I think I'm basically uninked it earlier because it was a bit, not annoying, but I could see that I didn't really do it justice because I didn't use it enough. Let's see if yes, that should be it. So yeah, this was the Waterloo Sunset ink, and it's lovely. It worked really well in that pen as long as I kept it like flowing, as long as I kept using it. But then I forgot about it for a few days, and yeah. So, and it's also because it was really, really hot here. I think that sort of worked to its detriment and added to the dry out issues that were already here. So yeah, I would do it again, but maybe in a month where I don't have so many pink pens inked up. So for the next pen, this was Robert Oster Copper in my Black Robin's Caffeine Withdrawal. This works really, really well. There is a bit of an evaporation issue where the first 3 lines or so always look slightly different, like more brown, but then it starts to get its color in and it's fine. But it's I'm not sure, probably also because it has been so hot. So but it doesn't really bother me, especially not for journal pages or manuscript pages. So I definitely want to use this pen in my manuscript writing next. I have a bit left, but not a terrible lot. So yeah, I might even, because copper is sort of a brownish red, maybe I just use this pen in the manuscript. Maybe I'd this is one of the sort of the exceptions to the rule, or just Then the Twisby Eco Root Beer. This is inked up with Kaweco Summer Purple at the moment. Summer Purple is such a wet ink that this is actually writing more like a medium at the moment. With Poussière de Lune, that I think worked better with the fine nib. And this is how it looks. This Twisby has been a bit tricky before. This was the one that didn't handle the shimmer ink amazingly well, and also where I had some assembly problems. But with Pseudoline, this worked really, really well. So I will definitely consider this ink. But now I want to actually write this properly dry. I mean, there's still a fair bit left. I want to write it properly dry so I can use it in the manuscript, because of the high ink capacity. You can see I think that's a result of me having assembly problems, that there's a tiny bit of ink behind the piston, but I'm a bit worried about taking it apart again. So I might live with that maybe. Which also sort of contributed to my hesitance to get the new pink lemonade Twisby. But at some point, I might still get it. I still want a bronze extra fine nib. So when the second release of that one comes out, I'm not quite sure yet. But all in all, it has been a really good month with some little blips like the Jinhao 20. I mean, this pen has not given me any trouble before, so I think it was sort of a circumstances really. But all in all, August was a really, really good month in my diaries and my manuscripts. And for September, because my current manuscripts are brown, we have a way more autumnal tone. And I'm currently looking. I don't think I need to ink up any more pens. I have with those two holdovers, I have 12 pens at the moment, and I think I'm sort of on the brink of getting overwhelmed. So yeah, I think that will be it. But thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I know. So I really enjoy the review videos, to be honest, because that's sort of, yes, they're all pretty colors, but do they actually work? Or are there problems with an ink? That's what the part that I'm usually really interested in. So if you're still here, you are amazing. And subscribe, you know what to do. If you would like to get my newsletter, it's just a quarterly one. It's not something that spams up your inbox. Then the link to subscribe is in the description box below. Thank you so much and see you soon.